Hello, my name is Jeff Cross, and this is Straight Talk. Today, I'm pleased to welcome to the program Spencer Dickerson, who's the Senior Executive Vice President of Global Operations with the American Association of Airport Executives, or AAAE. Hi, Spencer.
Hi, Jeff. Nice to be with you and appreciate the time.
Yeah, quite a mouthful, that association you work with, but an important one, obviously. I hope all is well in your world. Where do you work out of?
So we're based in Alexandria, Virginia, so just right across the river from DC.
Yeah, right in the middle of everything. Everything
Yep.
important as far as government and
Right.
all that. Well, good. Tell us about the AAAE. What do you guys do?
So we're a nonprofit professional association representing airport management. We have about 7,000 members at 900 U.S. airports, and then a couple hundred members overseas, mostly in Canada and India, at another couple hundred airports. So our focus at AAAE is on training for airport executives and their staff, all the way from the top CEOs down to the operations folks, operations, security, airfield issues. And then we're an advocacy group in Washington. We spend a lot of time representing airport interests on Capitol Hill, at the FAA, TSA, Customs, Border Protection.
You call it the AAA. That's easy.
AAAE, yes, sir.
AAAE. Okay. All right. Well, how is the aviation industry doing these days? Is travel picking up?
It's been extremely difficult and challenging. I think when the pandemic hit, in mid-March, and everything just fell off the cliff in aviation, everyone, including the airlines, were hopeful that we'd get back to levels pre-pandemic in the summer. Bookings would pick up. That didn't happen, obviously. Then we go into the fall and now the winter, and it's just been pretty bleak for the aviation industry. Traffic is about 60 to 70% down from where we were pre-pandemic. It's pretty dramatic. The airlines have lost about $30.5 billion, and they lost that in calendar year 2020. Airports saw significant revenue loss. When you don't have passengers and airplanes, you don't have landing fees, you don't have the concession revenues, you don't have parking, you don't have the transportation network. So it's been a pretty consistent decrease. We saw a little bit of uptick around the Christmas holidays, but it's down about, as I said, about 60 to 70% where we were about a year ago.
Yeah, we all hope that will come back soon. This pandemic is wearing everyone out. I did a little research, and it seems like there's some 5,000 public airports and maybe 20,000 total airports in the country, and you folks represent many of them. I want to talk about the cleaning industry and the impact on cleaners at airports. There must be hundreds of thousands of workers to take care of these airports. How has the cleaning industry, in your viewpoint, been affected? Are you seeing anything there you can share with us?
Sure. We reached out to GBAC and ISSA back in the spring. Obviously, GBAC had a program going pre-pandemic, then pivoted nicely to deal with cleaning of facilities, convention centers, hotels, airports, airlines. And so we have now a very robust program with GBAC. I think we've accredited maybe 25 airports, large and small, another 50 or so in the pipeline. And, the focus is on limiting access, hygiene practices, the PPE equipment, disinfection, infectious disease prevention. So it's a very robust, comprehensive program that the airports are working with GBAC. And it's important because we have to airports, all these airports are public entities. They're run by cities, they're run by counties, by authorities, by states. They need to give the passengers a high level of comfort to come back to airports and to fly on airplanes. And so there's been a tremendous amount of resources and time spent by the airports, by the airlines. As you mentioned, airports are complex. You have the public areas that are open with concessions, restaurants, bars, the terminals for the gate areas for the airlines, We have lots of partners. Our airports work with TSA, of course, on what TSA is responsible in terms of passenger screening, Customs and Border Protection, and international arrivals. It's important to note, too, on the international side, that's just been totally decimated. I think the numbers are about 80 to 90% down in international traffic. Domestic is a little bit better. Overall, I said 60 to 70% down, but international globally is about 88% down, and that's due to travel restrictions. Here in the U.S. now, any international arrivals, for the most part, have to have a positive COVID test before they can come into the U.S. The government CDC is looking at possibility of testing for domestic travel in the U.S., which has raised some concerns in the aviation community about how that would work. So it's incumbent upon all of us in the ecosystem of the aviation world to provide facilities and give the passengers the comfort level, just like restaurants are working with customers and other public facilities.
Yes. So the AAAE and GBAC have a partnership now, and we value that partnership. We recently had a press release on that. In fact, if anyone wants that press release, I'll put my email at the bottom of the screen here, and I'll send that to anyone that's watching this. But maybe if you had an opportunity to talk to travelers and people who are using airports, what would you tell them? What's like an open mic opportunity for you here?
Number one, it's safe. There's obviously nothing 100% safe in the COVID world. We all recognize that. But all the airports and the airlines are looking at this from a science-based proposition in terms of COVID. There's been lots of studies done, including by Harvard, that shows minimal exposure and risk in terms of traveling on airplanes, in terms of other public means of transport or restaurants or other types of things. So it's primarily focused on giving people the comfort level. Airports and airlines have for a long time in the pandemic been requiring masks use in airports, in the public area of the airports. The federal government, as you know, the Biden administration came out with a federal requirement for mask use in airports and other transportation modes. So that's, people are masked up. When you go to airports, they're masked up, and if they're not, they're asked to do so. And we all know that wearing masks is an absolutely critical part of keeping this under control.
Yeah, and no end in sight, but we know eventually things will turn around, and we look forward to the airline industry benefiting from more travel. I know I used to live at airports myself, and one day I'll be back at it, but right now things are a little slower. So,
well, I mean, airports are and airlines are key to the economy, and whether it's tourism, business development, economic development, job creation, airports play a critical role along with their airline partners. And yeah, we'd love to get it back sooner than later, for sure.
Understand. Well, Spencer, we do appreciate your input and your honest commentary on what's going on. And we'll talk again one day.